Oh, hello everyone. So this lesson is our next lesson on our poetry unit. Today we're going to focus on a poem called Dreams by Langston Hughes. So as your starter task, I want you to just read these 4 sentences and just decide which of these are metaphors. So the first one is, the fog was a cat crawling through the city. The fog, second sentence, the fog surrounded the buildings in the city. Third sentence, an old man's hair was sprinkled over the skyscrapers. And fourth, it was impossible to see the ground through the fog. So which of those do you think are the metaphors? So the actual ones that are metaphors are number 1 and number 3. So the fog was a cat crawling through the city. So it describes the fog as being a cat, and therefore that's the use of a metaphor. And number 3, an old man's hair was sprinkled over the skyscrapers. That's describing the fog, or is it maybe snow or whatever it is. It's describing the fog as old man's hair. Whereas number 2 is a literal phrase, the fog surrounding the buildings in the city. Number 4, it was impossible to see the ground through the fog. They are literal phrases. Okay, everyone, so what we're going to do in this lesson is you are going to focus in on a poem by Langston Hughes. We're going to look at the difference and meaning of what's called the tenor and the vehicle when we look at metaphors. We're going to do some analysis of the Langston Hughes poem, and you're going to do some writing based on that, and then we will review what we have done. So, what I want you to do now is just write down 3 metaphors which you think might describe fog. So what could you compare fog to? So when we've looked at some of the other poems before, when we've looked at fog, we've compared fog to cats, for example, but what other things could you describe fog? You know, what metaphors could you use to describe fog? And if you've got any really good ideas, just put them in our kind of like team in one of the posts and just share some of the ideas that you've got. That'd be great. So what I want you to think about next is the idea of dreams. So we all have dreams, okay? So I want you to think about these 3 questions. You don't have to write them down, just think about them. So what do you dream of being when you grow up? What are your aspirations for you, your family, and your life? And do you think it's important to have dreams for your future? So we're going to look at this poem, which is called Dreams by a poet called Langston Hughes, who lived from 1902 to 1967. There's a picture of him there. So let's just read this poem. Hold fast to dream, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow. Now the word hold fast means to hold tight, so to hold on to something, and the word barren means empty. So hopefully you can see some metaphors there, such as life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly, and life is a barren field frozen with snow. So Langston Hughes uses 2 metaphors there to describe what life might be like if you don't have dreams. So what I want you to do, okay, is to write down 2 things that Hughes compares life without dreams to. So just write that down, make sure you understand that. Okay, gave you a few clues in the previous bit, but just write those down. Yeah, so well done for doing that. So you should have got the idea that he compares dreams to, or not having dreams to, if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly, and life is a barren field frozen with snow. And both of those are not very nice things, are they? So they talk about, you know, a broken-winged bird that cannot fly, a barren field frozen with snow. You know, they're not doing the things. The field isn't able to grow crops on it, which is what it should do. A bird's not able to fly, which is what it should do. So it's basically saying without dreams, human beings are unable to perform their function. And there's the answer for there. You can just see that in green there. So I'm going to introduce you to 2 topics called tenor and vehicle, and I want you to write down these 2 concepts because they're really important when we're analysing poetry. So the tenor is the thing you want to try and describe to your audience. So when we've been looking at fog, that's being the tenor. The vehicle is the made-up bit that you compare the tenor to. So for example, if you compare fog to a cat, for example, then the cat is the vehicle. So let's look at a few examples. So the tenor here, if for example you're using a phrase like life is a journey, then the tenor, that is the object that's being described, so that would be life. The vehicle is what you describe the object to, so you're describing life as being like a journey. So the tenor is the object being described, okay, and then the vehicle is what you're comparing that to. And the meaning of that is life is a long experience that unfolds for us in the manner of traveling to a particular destination. So we're going to do a little bit of work on that now. And we're going to think about tenor and vehicle. So the fog comes on little cat feet. The fog is the tenor. The little cat feet is the vehicle. So what you're going to do now, okay, is you're going to have a look at this table and you're going to write down the tenor and the vehicle and analyze what the tenor and the vehicle have in common. Now I've done that as the first one there as an example for you. So Achilles fought like a lion. The tenor is Achilles. Okay, and the vehicle is a lion. So Achilles is being compared to a lion. So rather than saying Achilles fought bravely, we're saying Achilles fought like a lion. And then what have they got in common? Well, both are strong, fierce, and brave. So just pause this video now and have a go at writing down the tenor and the vehicle for each of the other 6 phrases that you can see there and think about what they have in common. Okay, well done. You should have done that now. So here are answers. So your room is a pigsty. The tenor is your room. The vehicle is a pigsty. The idea being that both are very messy and smelly. Hopefully you're keeping your rooms tidy at the moment. The room was like a furnace. The room is the tenor. The furnace is the vehicle. The idea is that both are very hot. Robert is like a bull in a china shop. So Robert is the tenor. The vehicle is the bull in the china shop. Both moving around the idea in a very destructive and careless way. The eagle is like a bolt of lightning. The tenor is the eagle. The vehicle is the bolt of lightning. And the idea here is that both are very fast and can both be very dangerous. The room was as silent as a graveyard. The room is the tenor. The vehicle is the graveyard. And it's the idea that both are empty of life. She was volcanic with anger. So the tenor is the she, or the girl, or the woman. The vehicle is the volcano. And the idea is that her rage is uncontrollable. Just like when a volcano erupts, it's uncontrollable and dangerous and could harm others. So well done. I'm sure you did really, really well on that and got some really, really good ideas. So hopefully now you're starting to appreciate the difference between the tenor and the vehicle. So let's have a look at this question. How important are dreams to Langston Hughes? We've looked at the 2 quotations that Hughes uses to describe a life without dreams. He says, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly, and life is a barren field frozen with snow. So I want you to now think about which words best describe Hughes's feelings about a life without dreams and why. So just pause that and think about that question. So I would say that Hughes thinks that if we don't have dreams, then life would be very what we call confining, that you wouldn't be able to go to as many places. So if a bird, for example, had broken wings, then it wouldn't be able to travel as far, for example. Okay. Probably the word wasted is a good one as well. The barren field frozen with snow is wasted. Okay. Pointless. Okay. A bird that can't fly might seem pointless or indeed hopeless, and it certainly seems bleak. So in many ways all of those words are useful to describe Hughes's feelings about a life without dreams. Personally, I really like the use of the word confining, because I think, you know, particularly that idea of the broken winged bird that cannot fly, it's very what we call confined. It can't go to as many places, just like if say somebody is in a prison cell, for example, they are what we call confined. So what I want you to do now is write an analytical paragraph to answer this question. How important are dreams to Langston Hughes? So here's a structure to follow. You write your topic sentence, so what you're going to write about. You're going to introduce and provide a quotation, and then explain what the quotation shows us about how Hughes feels. So to help you to do that, I've written an example paragraph that you can have a look at. So your introduction to the sort of topic is to say, Hughes feels that a life without dreams is frustrating. This can be seen in the quote, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. And then we got our analysis to that. Hughes feels that dreaming is as natural to us as flying is to a bird. In particular, he used the metaphor of the broken-winged bird to show us that something must have gone wrong in a life with no dreams, as if a person with no dreams has been damaged. The metaphor also compares dreaming with flying, which suggests that dreaming is exciting and freeing. Hughes feels that without dreams, we are stuck and unable to fill our potential. So that's the kind of analysis I'm looking for. So once you've written your paragraph of analysis and you use that example one to help you, check that you haven't got any run-on sentences and that you're using your punctuation carefully. Check that each proper noun begins with a capital letter. So if you're writing about Langston Hughes, make sure you've got the capital letters in there, please. Have you used your pronouns clearly and accurately? And have you checked your spellings? Well done. I hope you've enjoyed that lesson. You got some really, really good ideas about the poetry of Langston Hughes. Thanks very much for listening, as I said, and bye-bye.